Mukesh, shall we start?
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay. Good morning, Mukesh. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me on the show. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much. I'm also excited to have you on the show, given that my qualification is an accountant, used to be, now entering into space of my own practice, which is a different industry. So I am ecstatic to have you here on the show today. I'd like to introduce myself, our listeners, and to you formally. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. First off, I'd like to say thank you very much for reaching out and for saying yes to be interviewed today on such a short notice. And allow me to read your introduction before we get right into our conversation. So, hey everyone, we have Mukesh Bajaj here with us. Mukesh is the visionary and purpose-driven founder of NexZen Accounting and a lead fulfillment coach with over 20 years of experience across various industries. In 2011, Mukesh started his own accounting company to address three significant issues in the industry: the high failure rate of standalone SME, small and medium businesses, the lack of wealth or cash flow for business owners at retirement age, and the focus of accountants on compliance and reporting instead of proactively guiding business owners to create sustainable and profitable businesses. Now, Mukesh has successfully solved these problems for his clients and is now taking his quest a step further. Inspired with the vision of having a computer on every desk and in every home, Mukesh's vision is for every human to achieve financial freedom and live a fulfilled life. His mission is to guide 15,100 people towards achieving this goal. Okay, we're gonna circle back on why that number. First, Mukesh, welcome and thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'd like to take my listeners and my guests down a trip down memory lane. Can you share with us, before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, what was it like growing up as a Mukesh Bajaj?
See, I was born in a small town in India. My mom and dad, very loving, very supporting. My dad was a franchisee of a very successful logistics company. And so the money was good. So one day, this franchisor siblings had a conflict and they decided to shut down the business. It meant that my dad, my family was without a business, without an income. My dad tried to find a similar sized business, but he couldn't find it. And so one of my uncles suggested so they should start a logistics company themselves. And that's what they did. However, they didn't realize that this new business needed different mindset, different skill set, and the capital, which my dad didn't have.
Mm.
So my dad this business had more overheads than the previous one. My dad used to be sometime behind in paying wages. And then he had to borrow from his relatives and friends to keep the business going one day at a time. And that pushed my mom into the environment of scarcity and anxiety as well. So, and I couldn't help much because it was a reflection of how she was brought up with her 7 sisters in a home. And I couldn't do much because I was also working as a lost young man. One of my friends then encouraged me to come to Australia for the study. I started my study master's in accounting in Australia. And needless to say, I didn't have savings. My parents mortgaged the home and I was working in restaurants to pay the bills. After completing master's and CPA, I started my accounting company. Now my clients connected with me because I felt their pain, because I had seen the uncertainty and the pain what my clients had, that as SMEs, what my mom and dad had. So they connected with me. Fast forward a few years, we grew, we hired more people. We successfully solved those 3 problems that I wanted to, which you mentioned earlier. But I was still feeling unfulfilled. I was still feeling kind of like
Something's lacking.
in middle of personal conflict, where sometime will grow some clients, I'll focus on that, then I lose the sight of my bigger purpose, and then I feel like I've lost months and years. So that conflict happened, and then I took a pause. I stopped for a moment, and then I reflected on my journey. And I saw that my father lived his life unfulfilled. He couldn't create the financial freedom from the business. My mom lived that, and with that scarcity and anxiety mindset. I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to spend my life not for my wife, more for my son, or for he was 2 years old at the time, or for my mom and dad either. So I took that massive action. How I invited two of my team members, and we locked ourselves in the conference room from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday for 3 months in a row. We brainstormed on the whiteboard. Those whiteboards scribbled then became our value system. That was the um, most intense process I've ever been in, professionally or personally. However, still this business was incomplete. The value system was incomplete. Then we've been reading, listening to thought leaders around the globe via books, podcasts, videos. Then I found this word somehow serving, and that was the aha moment. So that took me out from my miserable, empty life. I kept asking myself that what serving meant for me. That led me to find out my core values: happiness, freedom, and win-win, my purpose. Then all that feeling of being lost or stuck went away. My path became clearer. The decision I started making that was aligned with myself. In that realization, I found that my fulfillment is in fulfilling other people's lives, getting them unstuck, helping them what they want to achieve in their life. I've been stuck and lost my whole life. And when I found this, that was now I'm sharing that system which helped me change from a headless chicken. I used to be jealous, anxious, scarcity mindset person. And this system helped me change from the headless chicken to a fulfilled human being. And this is what I'm sharing through the book now.
Yeah, which wow. I love talking about struggles and about serving, because the very core of, I guess, the true purpose, in at least for me, or now that you have shared yours as well, it's about serving something that is bigger than ourselves. And that you can sleep better knowing that you've served just one soul today at that moment. So Mukesh, I'm gonna go back to your book. Tell us, how this how did this book come about, and what is inside? Give us a sneak peek.
See, I've been working on this book. Like when I said, the first 30 years I was stuck and lost, and then 7 years that I worked on the accounting company, solved the problems. Now from 2017, then when I found this value system, then I've been working on making it so that it's implementable, so that we can use it on a daily basis, so that it's a decision. Whenever we stuck, it could help us making decisions. So, and working with a team, clients, then my team is sharing that, okay, we should share it now with the world, because it's a system which helps us all. And I knew that writing is difficult. You know,
We're not writers. We're not born writers. I mean, if you have the knack for it, then yes. But yeah, I mean, we have to put a bit more effort into it. Then yeah.
so I knew that, and that writing, even I've heard from like seasoned writers that it's difficult, but at the same time, they have mentioned that it's rewarding. It's rewarding. It's incredibly rewarding, the outcome that we learn through reflection, that experiences we collect. And by writing, the process or the content becomes so clear, which otherwise we saw we see so much flaws if you just keep it in a one as a one template, one isolated process. But when you write, it becomes a comprehensive system.
Material.
So yeah, and that led to me that, okay, let's write down, let's share. Then last couple of years, we've been actively working on the book, bringing that to the life, which has now, we wanted to create a book which is educational as well as entertaining. We didn't want to write down a textbook. That's what, I just wanted to make sure it's, people would love to read it.
Mm.
And it's a big picture as well as detail. It has it takes you to the thinking as well as implementation. It helps you with the mindset as well as how to complete the task. So this system is complete in itself, which I'm sharing through the book. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know we talked a little bit about fulfilled life, right? But I mean, for the benefit of the listeners, how can we define a fulfilled life? There's one, and what does it mean to you? And I think you mentioned this, but yeah. Hi, I'm Nierras, your host of the Your Wordless podcast. Now, if this real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
See, fulfillment to me means practicing my values: happiness, freedom, and win-win, and having a purpose which is bigger than me. Now my purpose and my vision is that every human have this financial freedom and a fulfilled life. And my mission, that in my lifetime, if I could work, which I answer your 15,100 question now, that if I could work with 15,100 people actively to, like, in my life, and that's fulfillment to me. If I'm instrumental in helping other people get unstuck, find their path, find their fulfillment, because everyone's unique. Your fulfillment will be different than mine. Maybe it can be, and my role is to help you find find what you want to achieve in your life, and that's what fulfills me.
And I would like to ask, like you mentioned about the scarcity mindset from your upbringing, and what type of reflections did you do? What did you gather over the years, understanding that this is simply a belief that was imprinted on you so far because this is what maybe they've known, people that come before you, this is what they have known. So how did that made you reflect and made you switch and change the mindset from scarcity to abundant mindset?
I would credit Stephen Covey on that. I read his 7 Habits book so many times, and that has been definitely one of the reason I could see that why I feel this way and why is it a scarcity mindset, and how an abundance mindset look like. And scarcity means that when we are starting, in our education, you got to be number one. You got to be number one without knowing what number one means.
Proving. Yeah.
Scarcity means that when someone, your colleague, or someone who gets more reward, gets, progress, and you feel like, and without knowing, this is, again, it's not deliberate. When you say that,
Subconscious.
it's more like, we don't question that, and then we feel unhappy, unfulfilled because of that mindset. And it's all like for no reason. When you see everyone, otherwise it's a good soul, but this environment sometimes we learn through different content we grab like automatically, and then we get to that mindset. So yeah, there's multiple examples that in my whole life that where I was that kind of person without intentionally being that person, without being intentionally taught that he should be. But that happened. And now that serving mindset, oneness mindset, now I'm that mindset. I see things differently. I feel differently. Now I can even see that even if I die tomorrow, without completing any of this mission, we're talking about 15,100, without doing anything, I would be fulfilled knowing that I was working on that. I was, I was working on that. That's the fulfillment. That's a oneness mindset. Now I think about how can we increase the size of the pie rather than feeling like I will have to pay to my team.
Yeah. There's not enough for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to sacrifice myself.
With my team now, it's so great feeling that I can share this thing without feeling. I invite them to grow multiple every year, like I dream, not for myself, but main thing is with the growth, we are able to not only grow ourselves but help other people. So yeah, and this mindset is different. This is beautiful. This is amazing. This feeling is amazing.
And it's the feeling that you would want to be in for the rest of your life. Because once you feel it, there's no going back. Yes, of course, you can feel that sometimes resources are low and then you start that inevitably will try to pull you back. But then you say, okay, there's enough pie for everyone. I will be able to get through this.
And I honestly acknowledge here, it wasn't easy for me. In the last 7 years, I'm struggling. Yeah, even knowing that, but I'm struggling because I didn't have something to bring back to me or give me the confidence. Because when you lose something or something happens, life happens, some sickness happens, then we focus on, oh, I need to focus on this current thing, the little thing.
Yes.
We lose that bigger. And I acknowledge that I've been there. Now with the system, it helps me that this is my blue line when you look at the GPS. Yes, we go off track a bit, but now I know that off track, I acknowledge that. Now even I see it differently. Writing gave me this another beautiful learning, I would say, that now I see that point, the challenges, the struggle as an integral part of the story. Because if there is no low point, no challenge, no struggle, there is no story. And our life is a story. So now I don't see them as a negative. I see them as a positive, the opportunity. Because now when I go through this part of my life, that's an opportunity for me to share my experience with someone who is stuck and lost. And that will help him or her at that time when, in need. So I don't see them as a problem anymore. And this is what I learned. This writing has given me that I wouldn't have learned this thing. Honestly, this is my, very
You'll be
grateful.
able, people can resonate with you because you've gone through it yourself and you've moved on to the other side. Wow. Okay. Naveen, Mukesh, thank you so much for that. Can you share with us like the 7 steps, or is it sort of confidential? Can you break them down for me, for our listeners? Becoming a podcast host was a natural extension of my second act. Now, after spending 15 years in the corporate world, I've transitioned to helping individuals overcome challenges like navigating tough relationships, career burnout, and aligning their mission with their soul's calling. By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I've made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Now, let me ask, are you facing challenges like struggling to reprogram your mind to attract wealth, weight issues that feel like a constant yo-yo, insomnia or restless nights from daily worries, or just a lack of confidence in public speaking? If the answer is yes, visit www.thenierrasholisticlifestyle.com and grab a free hypnosis audio of these common struggles. It's a sneak peek into how my coaching works. Are you feeling shy? Don't be, because I'm as real as it gets. Let's connect on Instagram and LinkedIn. and start your transformation today.
Yeah, my life, now it's nothing confidential anymore. It's just open book, and I will.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to do in my life: to share this message, share these 7 steps. And thank you for even giving me an opportunity to share that. Um, See, the whole book is a 7 step, but I will see how I can break that into parts so that the audience can take something out of it, and then they can watch the recording. They can get, even if they send me a message or go to my website, they will get a copy as well. So don't you don't have to note everything. So I'll share.
Yeah.
So the 7 steps is the first step, and I'll break into why this step is important and what is this step about and how to do this step in a like a quick way. So first step is celebrate and be grateful. So being grateful has a numerous benefits, as we know. It gives us mental and emotional and physical well-being. It reduces the stress and anxiety. It increases our resilience, strengthens the relationship, improves sleep quality, mindfulness. What we've done differently is that I emphasize on people to write down or think about 7 things that you are grateful for in any situation. In any situation, that you can write down 7 things. When I asked this question to my 8-year-old son that time, he mentioned school, life, food, house, parents. Then he got cheeky gifts and friends. So he could tell that those 7 things. So it's possible, it's easy to be grateful for. That's the first step. Number 2 is align your fulfillment vision. And why is it important? Because it ensures that your actions and goals are in harmony. They are in align with your core values and true purpose. In these 10 elements we define in fulfillment vision are activities, behavior, habits, beliefs, goals, values, character, purpose, principles, and environment. So when you find the purpose, whether it's a life's purpose, business purpose, purpose of podcasting, anything, when you find the purpose and you align, submit all other things, your activities, your habits, to your purpose, your life becomes fulfilled, right? Number 3 is know your win. And this is very important for people who always dedicate their life to someone else support. This step was deliberately, uh, noted for those people, like my mom, like my dad. Like there's so many, like yourself. I heard you and listened to you as well, that how you spend your life fulfilling other people, right? So this step 3 is dedicated to you too, because it's about knowing your win. It's very important as well. It's about um, creating 30 cells. 30 cells means there are 6 kind of needs, even though you could break your needs into multiple ways. But I find it works best for me is 6 needs of brand, money, time, skill, health, and experience. When I say brand is not just a logo. Brand means your values, your purpose, what you stand for, what you live for, what you want to be remembered for. So that's the brand. And now as an accountant, we can see that 6 rows, now 5 columns. So 5 columns are your life circles, 5 life circles. So the very first life circle is you. Right. When we are designing our life, we take ourselves as also a third person. Right? So you, your family, your business colleagues, career, employment life circle. That's the third one. The fourth one is your friends and community. And fifth one is your spiritual, non-spiritual. When you complete this 30 cells, then you know where do you want to spend your 168 hours of a week. When you know how much money means to you, how much money is financial freedom for you. When you are self-aware who you want to be, What do you want to do for your family? What kind of a health you want to have? What kind of experiences you want to create? So that's what we find out in step 3. Step 4 is now doing the same exercise with your client. You can say values and habits is the same thing from that perspective. Curiosity and empathy. When you having this conversation with your client, and client is not just the paying client, business client. Client in this paradigm is every other person in your life is a client. And I chose this thoughtfully because we are again in an environment we just so accustomed to giving so much attention to our business client, but not to our family, friends, community, parents, kids. We give them leftover of us. They give the best of us who pay us, right? This is why I wanted to bring the same terminology, saying that it's a different paradigm where you see every other person as a client and you understand their pain with curiosity and empathy. You understand that how would that negatively impact on their business and on their life? What are the opportunities in their life? What are the roadblocks? But remember only those two values, the mindset of curiosity and empathy, not judgmental, not interrogating. So that's how we understand what the win look like for the client, for spouse, for parents, for kids. They're all clients in this paradigm. Number 5 is when you understand your win, when you understand your client's win, now you create win-win solution. Propose that in number 5. Because the only sustainable fulfillment in any relationship can exist when there is a win-win for everyone. Number 6 is now you got the solution. You have the agreement. Now you know who will do what. Now you have that minimum viable product. Now you know how would you have this relationship. Now you have, you're marrying and you have said I do and you got the vows, right? So that's a step 5, right? Now you decide to have a kid. You have taken the decision that you will have a life in your life, right? A new life within your life, right? Now step 6 is about delivering with excellence by practicing those 4 values. We have resourcefulness, integrity, innovation, and excellence every time. And all we say that job or delivery of a task or a job of a product is excellent when you deliver within time, within budget, within the specifications you agreed on, and also you provided a fulfilling experience to the person. Then only it is excellence. If you're not taking all those 4 criteria, time, budget, specs, and experience, it's not excellent. And we measure it, we do it via process that you got a recipe for that. Then you measure the scorecards, you do accountability meetings so that you make sure you consistently deliver the results you agreed. And number 7 is the great one, achieve with joy, right? You've done the hard work, you've delivered the fulfillment to your client. And I again remind, client could be your parent, your kid, your spouse, could be friend, or the business client. Same thing. Even if I'm washing the dishes for my spouse that we agreed on, I can't complain. I have to deliver it with the integrity value, right? Number 7, where we celebrate our achievements. If we achieved our goals, perfect. If we are missing on something, then we reflect on our learning in this step. We receive the feedback. We share the feedback. This is how, as you can see, from step 1 to step 7, it's a complete system. It gives the mindset of fulfillment as well as it helps you create the fulfillment for someone else. And in return, you receive the fulfillment from someone else.
I love how you're tying it back from celebrate and then celebrate again.
That's life.
That's life.
You only need to be like that. then only we can sustain fulfillment. Although I can be happy one day, oh, I found a new
Yeah.
car, I can be happy, but
Bought
then
a new
next,
toy, new gadget.
and by this process helps me that I can be like this person every time, every moment, every day. And I can share this because this is so objective as well as big picture. I can share this and you can implement.
And it's applicable to both my professional life and personal life.
Yeah. In any situation.
Wow, thank you. Now, what work are you most proud of today, Mukesh?
Today or every day, I'll share you one story.
Yes, today or every day.
I tell you this, one of the story that reminds me that why one of my friend and the new client, very recent experience I'm sharing, and I've got multiple of those, but I'm sharing this one recent one. And she wanted to quit her business. She wanted to close the business. See her that she's a wealth of knowledge, 20 years of experience. Her client will love her, right? It'll be like I
It's a disservice to the community if she could.
and I when I heard that when we were having a conversation, I said, "No, we should have a conversation now, deep one." And, because she was working long hours, she had the same routine. Like she's taken all the accountabilities on her head, and then she was burned out. And when you look at the stats which I mentioned earlier, that 20% of businesses that fail within first year, and then 40% within first 3 years, and 50% in first 5 years. Now, the reason is not that they do not have information or resources. The biggest reason now is that they feel burnt out. And when I shared this now, 7-step system, and I shared the pre-copy of the book as well, she could see the path. She rediscovered that what she wanted through that 30 cells framework. She could see that, okay, this is how I want to spend my time. And then she thought about, okay, how about I bring a business partner rather than closing the door? That's simple. See, from now a zoom out view, it was that simple. The solution was there. But when you are in the situation, you can't see that.
Yeah.
And this is the power of the system that I'm sharing, that you can have zoom in, zoom out view at the same time, so that you'd never feel yourself stuck and alone. And when I see now her business is thriving, she's feeling happy. And one biggest thing is that her clients didn't lose her because she's so great in her business. We need to be in that business, not full time, maybe as a coach to the other people, so that she can live her life as well as, coach the business, the people, the team. Yeah. So that is I call that is the biggest win when I talk about the clients. But same thing I feel for my team, because my team, as I said, is a client, not as a team. Every other person is a client. So my team is a client for me as well. By sharing that a system with them, because I developed with them, so it's easier to share everything with them because they've been part of that journey. Their feedback has developed the system where it used to be incomplete, messy. Now it's a sequence, complete, implementable. Their feedback has changed, improved that system. So now they can create an abundance mindset. They create the win-win solution for the client. Whenever they talk to the client, they always talk with the curiosity and empathy mindset. They understand what the excellence delivery is. They don't get jealous with each other. And we also acknowledge we are not perfect. But at least one thing we know is we know what is the right thing to do. We follow the universal principles. Even we may not be able to practice, but we can acknowledge that here I wasn't right. My apology. Here I was late. But they take their ownership, accountability. They tell you up front that I may be late here. So they take the agreement from the client so that it's not a late anymore, right? So when you see now client and the team, if they're both fulfilled, my life is easy. I will never feel burnt out then.
Exactly. Because you don't have that stress on your shoulders. Awesome. Okay, Mukesh, what is next for you?
See, my bigger goal, as I shared, I will never achieve it, even though I my whole life, it's that kind of a bigger vision when you say every human has a financial freedom and living a fulfilled life. But my next is just walk every day on that path, because that milestone is there to give me the direction. And what do I need next? Doing this podcasting experiences, I'll be hosting soon as well. I want the guests, as you have in your podcast, I want to share those stories with my audience as well, right? My clients, my team, my friends, my family. I've got, such a great community. I want to bring their voice to them. Number two is creating those courses where free resources where people can listen to, like podcasts, webinars, free guides where one of my popular guides are what should I do? There's situation, what should I do? And then, there's a 7-step answers there. So that gives you the complete answer on what should I do. Answer is not in circles. It's just step 1 to step 7, complete solution. And book is coming up, which becomes a very, part of comprehensive support system, because you can see the whole thing, whole solution, the detail as well as the stories, so that you never get bored of, of learning, and you can get back to whenever you get stuck, or you feel like, oh, it's a Saturday, reading, and then you can do that as well. It's just beautiful stories like that in there. Also creating the community where we're like people who can share their wisdom, their experiences, their stories, and help each other out. Because my only mindset is about sharing this message. And the more we share, because everyone deserves the right to this financial freedom and a fulfilled life. Everyone. I couldn't help my dad. He passed away last year.
I'm so sorry.
Sudden. And now this is why even people, I'm just telling the audience, to your audience and anyone, if they see any flaw in me because I'm not the born speaker, I'm not the best writer, or I'm not the best podcast guest even, but I would request them to don't judge me on that and not read or look at that 7-step system, because it's not me. The main thing is the system. That system doesn't have those flaws which you will see in me. And my message is just about the system, those process, the templates, the path, and I'll improve. I didn't want it to wait 10 years to become polished before I could share.
That's right.
I wanted to share now, and I'm again apologizing everyone if you see that my own skill, that you feel any that the system has a complete solution which you can implement straight away, that will help you, which you will, which you can share with someone else. Then this way we'll create that a community which is supportive, which is abundance mindset. Because I've lived my life with scarcity, jealous, anxious mindset. It's not good.
It's not. Thank you for that, Mukesh. Okay, so I would like to ask to pivot to a self-worth question. I think we touched about this. We touched on this because of jealousy and envy. Imposter syndrome is a common challenge that affects people in various fields. How can one overcome imposter syndrome and recognize their true value and capabilities?
I'm the live example of this imposter syndrome person that it gets to me, as I said, last 7 years. And I gave the example that who I am to write a book, who I am to be speaking on the stage, who I am to say that these 7 steps, what I've written, what I'm sharing, they are so powerful. That's imposter syndrome example, where when you look at the abundance mindset, when you look at purpose is bigger than me, this syndrome goes away. The more I practice that, the more I share that, the syndrome goes away. If I start focusing on little things, syndrome will come back. The syndrome will go away when you start giving without having that
I
fear.
love that. Yeah. Syndrome goes away when you start giving. Just give.
Be grateful. Syndrome will go away. So yeah, I this helps me.
Thank you. I needed that reminder as well. Okay, Mukesh, if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
I would first of all, I share someone else's quote. Then I will get mine on as well. But first of all, I remember this John Scully's quote: "The future belongs to those who see possibilities before they become obvious." So we can live fulfilled life. We may not see that, but by sharing wins, our learnings with each other, we can create this. So my quote would be again: live a fulfilled life. Simple.
Thank you. How can people reach out to you, Mukesh?
Simple ways, they can go on my website, mukeshbajaj.com.au, and there's a ton of free resources. They can just go and they'll find more about me on the website. They have all links to my social media, and even if you send me a personal message through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through Instagram, any channel you prefer. It's not about me. Any channel where you feel comfortable, you connect me. I'll send you more resources, more personal stories. I'll share you the community so that maybe something will help, something will resonate with you. Yeah, so that's how you can connect with me.
Thank you. And there you have it, guys. You heard it from the person himself, Mukesh Bajaj. Before we close off, Mukesh, I'd like to thank you personally for the work that you're doing for the world and for advancing every step of the way despite the challenges, creating trails for those that will come after you. For our listeners, this has been that one podcast with that controversial name, You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you find yourself thinking that you are worthless, you're not alone, probably. But more importantly, ask yourself a level deeper. If I'm worthless, then why the heck am I here? It is because your soul have chosen to be here energetically, all the way from the ethers, and for that reason itself, you are worthy and you are enough. This has been Mukesh Bajaj, your guest of the day, and Nick Nierras, your host, signing off. Thank you so much, Mukesh, for your time.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.